So this is just a random character I decided to do. I'm trying to get myself to just create and have some fun sometimes. I've been doing a lot more technical stuff lately, and I figured this was a good way to kind of just do something. So with this drawing specifically, I'm only using one pencil, and in this case, it's the Stettler Mars Lumograph Black 2B, in case you're wondering. And I'm sure you might be able to see that in the video, but you can use a number 2. It's perfectly fine. You don't really need any more than a simple pencil. The reason I chose this is that I was looking for something that was a little darker and a little more expressive, and so you could see it on camera a little clearer. I have other pencils that I like to draw with for inking, but this one just is better for like a preliminary sketch, especially like again on camera, it works better. The reason I like to use one pencil, regardless of what it is, it could be a pen, it could be a pencil, whatever you want to use, just something to put marks down. I don't think too much about specific values. Like, I'm not doing an academic study with the pencils anymore. I'm doing more sketching or comic drawing, that kind of thing. And most comic artists, if you watch them, they don't have 1,000 pencils. They might use a couple. They might have like a blue pencil or a red pencil, like a blue non-photo blue pencil and like a red for construction drawing, just to kind of get that idea down. But it's just easier to not have to fiddle around with a bunch of different shades of pencils. Beginning artists tend to want to use every pencil under the sun, and I think there's something to be said about minimalism or a minimal palette in a lot of ways. I think having a smaller palette helps to eliminate the psychological term is the paradox of choice. If you have too many choices, it causes friction. It causes friction from just starting and creating, and so then you find yourself not sure, should I use this pencil, that pencil, which one should I use, unless you're going for an absolute hyperrealism or just trying to replicate realism in some way. You might be like, well, this is pretty close to that color and whatever. And in the beginning, that's good study. In the beginning, that is a really good way to study. But as time goes on and you start to create your own characters and things, if you look at characters that are popular, like SpongeBob, Patrick, that kind of thing, or even like Family Guy characters, South Park, just random animation characters, or Mickey Mouse, or any of them, they all have a very limited palette color, a set of colors. Dragon Ball Z has limited colors. Naruto, that you can pick out a few colors of each character, and that your brain associates those colors with that character, as well as like you can see the palette of color, and it's like 4 colors, and you'll go, oh, I know who that is. It's kind of like a Rebus puzzle. For me, when I would draw, I want to remove any of that limiting factor as possible, so I'm not wasting time trying to figure out which pencil to use, which shade, what value should I pick. You kind of have to push that one pencil lightly or light as dark as possible. And so something like an HB is usually pretty good for that. It's kind of a middle ground pencil, or a B. The 2B is a little darker, like I said, because I thought it was cool. The Blackwing mats have a cool history, and I wanted to try those. Although I found out the Blackwing 602 is what they used to use a lot back in the day, because it's closer to a B. Point is, animators used to use back in the day very simple single pencil. They didn't use 1,000 different pencils because you were trying to keep it as simple as possible, because animating lots of detail is difficult. And again, you can learn more from doing multiple drawings than you can from just one. So over fixating on which value is the exact one I need to have, you can learn a lot more by just grabbing a pencil and going, which I think this is why Drawbox and other places suggest doing that. But for me, I like to draw in sort of like a meditative state. It kind of becomes meditative when I'm drawing. I make decisions, but I'm not like stressing every detail. I try to just create and keep moving. And again, that's just how I do it. But I think it's supposed to be fun. And so eliminating the stress by just using one tool really helps alleviate that. Limiting yourself to a simple palette or a small amount of tools, only what you need, will actually make things easier for you. The other thing about the paradox of choice is that when given too many choices, one of two things will happen. You'll either not make a decision, you'll choose to do nothing, or you will pick what is already familiar to you. And if you're already comfortable with a simple pencil, you're probably going to gravitate to that because you know how it behaves. You know what works for you. You know what, even if you don't love the pencil that you're using, you're familiar with it, and so you know its nuances, and that's actually, it feels safer when given too many choices. So Use one pencil. Just try it for a while. You know what? Try it for 30 days. Grab a single pencil. It doesn't have to be the same pencil every time either. If you want to try different ones, it's fine. But for one drawing, pick a pencil, pick a pen, pick a color, something like that. Force yourself to just limit yourself, and it will kind of help you to focus on values, and you'll start to draw faster. Eliminating all that overhead, because it does give you a psychological overhead. This drawing was exactly that. It was just meant to be silly, kind of almost a disassociative. I knew kind of what I wanted to do when I started, but I didn't have any idea how it was going to turn out. I knew it was going to be a guy staple gunning himself, with suturing himself with a staple gun, because that was the point of the drawing, was to be funny. But it has no real meaning. It's just meant to be funny. He's just self-inflicting pain by staple gunning a gash in his forehead of sutures. You could take meaning from it if you'd like, but it's really meant to be ridiculous, absurd, and hopefully funny. If you like this format of videos coming from me, let me know. Give me a like, give us a share, throw a comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for hanging out. That's all I have to say for this one, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.